That thing's been acting weird. There's that muffler. So we're gonna go through my wiring again. Alright, what's up you guys? So this is my little amp I got here. I got this for free from one of my buddies, and I've been running it for a while. I ran it in the Isuzu for a bit, but so the gain knob and the crossover, those both broke off, and they're kind of free floating in there. Sometimes this guy, he just shuts off all sound. So I'm going to venture into some unknown territory and open this up and try to get it figured out. So I got my hardware out, and then across the top. Doesn't look as complex in here as I expected, but so this is the knob that's giving me a hard time. You can see that solder's moving in the board. Now, I don't have a solder gun, no sir, but I do have a nail, like a straight up like wood nail, a blowtorch, and some pliers and soldering wire. So I'm thinking I'm gonna hit each one of those guys and try to get it to reset, because that's why I'm losing connection, is because it's just wobbling around in there. So I'm gonna try to solidify it all up. Maybe give all of in here a little clean while I'm at it. Alright guys, so we got the heat. Then I grabbed a couple options. I grabbed this guy, little old dental pick. Found this on the side of the road, actually cleaned it up. It's been kind of useful. But I don't know if that's going to hold heat long enough for what I'm trying to do. I got this guy, which I think this is the guy I'm going to end up using. So it's got that fine tip, it's a hard steel, so it'll hold the heat really long. And I also grabbed this guy. I don't think I'm going to use this guy, I think that's a little bit too blunt. I think I'm going to stick this guy in the vice grips. I do have a little bit of solder, but I think I'm honestly just going to try to sandwich the solder that's already there down. But I was looking a little bit closer. Let me see if I can get that to show up. There is kind of a crack in the board. Right there. Yeah, you can see it. Right on that one solder point. Right on that guy. There's a crack in the board. So, I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to snug the solder down on those three closest. And I guess put it back together. I'll show you guys my results if they work. I just don't have a good way to film this while I'm working. So, yeah, this should work. I mean, a soldering iron is just a piece of metal that gets hot. It's a little bit more controlled. You can weld the same way, like if you have an acetylene torch or like a plasma cutter. You can stitch weld just by heating up your rod and your material. Kind of an old school way of doing it, but I'm not trying to spend like 30 bucks on a soldering iron for one use. Alright, check in with you guys in a bit. Alright y'all, so yeah, that worked actually pretty well. You can see those two. Let me try to get my little pointer in here. We're way zoomed in. We're way zoomed in. Where are we at? Where are we at? Yeah, so you can see these two guys right here, they're lifted up now because I supported that switch from the bottom and then melted that solder down on that guy, on the guy over to the far right, and now those two are popped up. You can see the bit of solder on my tool there. So it worked. Now to do it 5 more times. Alright guys, my little torch solder job is done. You can kind of see, I can't even really see my phone right now, sorry if this is terrible. You can see those look different than in one of the earlier clips. I went through and I touched all 6 of those. And I'm not going to wiggle the thing to show you, but it's not moving like it was. So hopefully this fixes my issue. Because occasionally, like, I would hit my brakes, right, and then my sub would just cut off. The rest of my speakers were fine, but my sub would cut off. Sometimes when I was bumping real hard, like, it would just cut in and out, cut in and out, cut in and out. And I'm pretty sure it was because this guy was rattling around. This guy isn't really moving. But like I just went through and double checked all my wiring. So I'm gonna hook this back up and I'll let you guys know if it's better. What's up, guys? So last we talked, I was working on that subwoofer and that amp, doing that little solder thing. I just wanted to say, you know, just because you've never done something, that's not a good reason to not do it. I've never soldered before. All that I was doing, fixing those solder points, I've never done anything like that. I knew what the premise was, and I figured, well, it's already broken. What am I going to do, break it more? So it's been about 2 days since I recorded that last clip, and I've had no issues. It's not cutting out. I got it tuned in well. So I got my tunes back, and I'm not losing audio quality like I was. So yeah, just because you've never done it. Whoa. Had you sitting on my steering wheel there. Just because you've never done it, that's not a good reason to not try it. I'd never done a head gasket when I did my Honda. Well, that car still doesn't run. I guess that's not a good example. It's not running. It's not running because not the head gasket. But check in with you guys later. I got some treasure in the back of the Subaru. Some more treasure sitting next to me in the Subaru. I got a tetanus shot sitting right here, dude. Yeah, I gotta hit the scrapyard, get some more money in, and hopefully we're gonna see the Accord in the next couple days. Check in with y'all later. Parking Lot Customs out.